Have you been waiting for an upgrade to the Nikon Z5? Well, the Nikon Z5 II is on its way, and there's plenty to discuss. Based on early information, Nikon appears to be refining its existing formula rather than making drastic changes. But are these upgrades enough to excite photographers and videographers alike? Let's take a closer look at what the Nikon Z5 II brings to the table. At the core of any camera is its sensor, and the Nikon Z5 II features a 24.5 megapixel backside illuminated CMOS sensor. This isn't a radical departure from the original Z5, but it remains a solid choice for both photography and video. What stands out, however, is the inclusion of the XPET-7 image processor, Nikon's latest processing engine, known for improving image quality, noise reduction, and low light performance. This should result in cleaner, sharper images, particularly for those who shoot in dim conditions. While the sensor itself hasn't seen a resolution bump, something many users might have hoped for, Nikon seems to be focusing on refining performance rather than pushing higher megapixel counts. One of the most anticipated upgrades is in the autofocus system. The Nikon Z5 II features a 273-point hybrid autofocus system with real-time eye and animal tracking. This should be a noticeable improvement, especially for portrait and wildlife photographers. The original Z5 had a decent autofocus system, but it wasn't the fastest in its class. With the XPET-7 processor, we can expect better speed and accuracy, making it easier to capture fast-moving subjects like sports or pets. However, real-world testing will determine whether Nikon has truly caught up with competitors like Sony and Canon, which have been setting high standards in autofocus performance. Questions remain about how well the autofocus will handle low-light situations and whether it will be as responsive in video mode as it is for photography. For videographers, the Nikon Z5 II supports 4K at 30 fps and 1080p at 120 fps, making it a decent choice for slow-motion footage. However, there's no mention of 4K 60 fps, a feature that many competitors in this price range now offer. This omission may be disappointing for content creators who require smoother motion and higher frame rates. That said, the camera does include 5-axis in-body stabilization, which is a welcome addition for handheld shooting. This will benefit vloggers and filmmakers who want stable footage without relying on a gimbal. While the Z5 II isn't a dedicated video powerhouse, it offers a well-rounded feature set for hybrid shooters who primarily focus on photography but occasionally need solid video performance. The camera also features a 3.69 million OLED electronic viewfinder, which, while not an upgrade in resolution from its predecessor, offers excellent clarity and responsiveness. Another significant improvement is the inclusion of a fully articulating 3.2-inch LCD screen, a major advantage over the original Z5's tilting screen. This makes it much more useful for vloggers and content creators who need flexibility when framing their shots. It remains to be seen whether Nikon has enhanced the touchscreen functionality, as previous models sometimes lag behind competitors in this regard. Storage and power efficiency have also been addressed. The Z5 II comes with dual UHS-2 SD card slots, allowing for backup storage or extended shooting sessions without frequent card swaps. Additionally, USB-C charging is now supported, making it easier to power the camera on the go, especially useful for travelers who want to avoid carrying multiple chargers. Despite these refinements, the Nikon Z5 II doesn't drastically change the game. The core specs remain similar to the original Z5, which might leave some users wondering if the upgrade is worth it. If you already own the Z5, the improvements may not be significant enough to justify a switch. Competing models like the Canon EOS R8 and Sony A7C II offer compelling alternatives, some with higher resolution sensors or 4K 60 fps recording. To stay competitive, Nikon will need to price the Z5 II strategically. As for availability, Nikon is expected to announce the Z5 II in summer 2025, likely before August. This release window positions the camera well for peak market demand while avoiding overlap with other Nikon models. Pricing will be a key factor in determining whether it attracts enthusiasts and semi-professional photographers. Ultimately, the Nikon Z5 II feels more like a refinement than a revolutionary upgrade. While it brings meaningful enhancements, particularly in autofocus, processing power, and screen articulation, it doesn't introduce any game-changing innovations. If you're new to the Z series or looking for a well-balanced full-frame mirrorless camera, the Z5 II is a solid choice. However, for existing Z5 users, the lack of major changes may make this a tough sell. The omission of 4K 60 fps may also deter some videographers. Nikon has made thoughtful upgrades, but whether they are enough will depend on individual needs and expectations. So, is the Nikon Z5 II the camera you've been waiting for? Or were you hoping for something more groundbreaking? Let us know your thoughts. And if you enjoy content like this, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more updates.